In many ways, the Railway Roundabout series was the progenitor of today's railway video magazines, in its mixture of films recording various facets of railway operation, from special trains, reserved railways, modern traction, and visits to the more celebrated railway institutions such as Swindon Works, the spiritual home of so many Great Western enthusiasts. On this occasion, one of Swindon's last-built express steam engines, Penrith Castle, was displayed for the cameras, having recently been shocked. She was one of the last to be built of this famous class in June 1949 and was fitted with her double chimney in May 1958. On the turntable is an engine with a Great Western name, but not a Great Western pedigree. For some time, the Western had been allocated a batch of British Railways Class 7 Pacifics or Britannias. Many were named after the original Great Western Star Class 460s, which had finally gone in the 1950s. This was the most appropriately named one for the region, although the men didn't really think a Britannia should be the Western Star locomotive. The engine was one of those which had had its original smoke deflector handrails replaced by handholds, following an accident with one of the class blamed on poor visibility caused by the deflectors, a feature not seen on native Great Western engines. The enemy was within. Swindon was also home to the warship diesel hydraulic class, which was to supplant the Britannias and Castles on the top expresses. By 1962, this was well underway. The hydraulics didn't last long, all being swept away in the 1970s in the interests of standardization on British railways. They'd represented the last flowering of Swindon's independence. These scenes epitomize the way the Railway Roundabout team took stock footage to make up a film for later release, as many of these scenes were taken in the early days of the program and not shown until later. This Class 4700 is undergoing overhaul and is not being dismantled. Swindon's 2000th built locomotive was City of Truro, and famous 100-mile-an-hour 440 double framer, which had been restored to working order in 1957. Here she's seen outside her birthplace as locomotives of a different era speed past. An immaculate diesel shunter brings out an equally immaculate shunter of the previous era. This is one of the ubiquitous pannier tanks of the 5700 class. 4695 was one of the post-war built engines, originally emerging from these workshops in 1945. Height and width were critical for rolling stock and locomotives, and the setting of springs was an art at Swindon. A special loading gauge was used to ensure that engines would not leave the works and then hit a bridge. Not to be moved, read the plate at the back of a London suburban tank, number 6116, seen at Swindon on an earlier occasion. This was the final flowering of a long line of large prairies, the class having a higher boiler pressure than its similar sisters. All 70 were originally used on outer suburban work, and one, number 6106, can still be seen today. The notice was very necessary, as it was a warning that men were working on the engine, adjusting the motion. Once the work was completed, the engine could go off-shed to return to her duties.